I am tired. So, I haven't put out a video in a while, and it's because I've been very busy with, well, furry stuff. But I'll go into that later. But for now, Apple has entered the arena. Apple have announced a new headset. This is almost certainly going to cause a very big shake-up of the VR scene. For most VR chat users, this won't really mean much at the moment, but there are several things that are likely to happen. The first one I can think of is if Apple are entering the market, there's going to be a lot more competition. You know, because every tech company just tries to copy the golden goose that is Apple. This is good news for all of us, especially if they support things like virtual desktop. For the last 5 years, the Valve Index has been the de facto best all-around headset, but it's starting to show its age. Most headsets that come out these days are lighter and have better screens, but they generally miss the mark on things like audio and compatibility. Most of the time, they don't even have face or eye tracking, but then again, neither does the Index. This new Apple headset has very impressive specs so far, bar PC compatibility. That's a big drawback, but there is a chance that virtual desktop will come out for it. This is a standalone device that doesn't use controllers either, but the developers that will work with this thing will just have to work with that. Also, it has a very bad battery life, but you can plug it into the mains. But the biggest drawback of this thing, if you want this for VR chat, is the cost. $3,499? I recently got a brand new PC that is a monster of a computer. This Apple headset costs more than my PC. That is going to make it dead on arrival for most VR chat users, even if it ever supports virtual desktop. But that's just the thing. No one knows the VR space like we do and what it can do. Savvy tech companies will see the gap that Apple have left behind and will want to compete with them, so they will move into our market, which is a good thing. God knows when the next Valve Index or whatever comes out. I just feel like going up to Gabe Newell with a stick and just say, "Come on, do something. Come on." So yes, I think for making new headsets, this is a good thing. Competition is good. However, there is one thing I do worry about, and I'm trying not to fearmonger here. If there is an explosion of headsets on the market which are aimed at Quest-style standalone VR chat experiences, this means more moderation. Right now, anyone over the age of 13 can join VR chat, and VR chat sort of just enforce their rules in a very lax, wishy-washy way. But if Apple gets involved, oh boy, that will change. But in saying that, Apple are very strict about what experiences they allow on their platform, and we all know that VR chat can run like crap on Quests, even in properly optimized worlds, and there's still the problem with avatar rippers and crashes that will affect Quest users. Apple will know this, and they might just steer clear of VR chat entirely out of fear of their users having a bad experience. The VR chat team is probably being screamed at right now by its investors, asking how they plan on making this work on Apple's headset, but there is a good chance it just never will, but we shall see. But we know what VR chat and VR is truly capable of, especially if you are a furry. Speaking of which, Furality. This year was Furality Silver. I have been to every Furality bar the very first one, and each one has been amazing. The biggest thing I was looking forward to was the DJ sets. I am blessed to know a bunch of the DJs personally, and some of these DJs blew it out of the park. Holy smokes, the sets were so good. Ada, Schlick, Strawberry, Stitcheroo, Zop, Kits, Luprov. The list goes on. I danced and drank and danced some more. Strawberry's set in particular really stood out to me because it was not only the music that was amazing, but the video itself told a story which was a continuation of a story from the previous Furality. Summed up, it's about a trans individual who finds herself at odds with her family over nothing more than just wanting to be herself. The video is beautiful, it's full of emotion and conflict, and the music goes with it perfectly. Here is a quick snippet. On the Monday, when it was all over, I was dead. Social battery empty, which was 2 days ago from recording this, and my feet still hurt. I went to meetups, but not that many, and I caught up with a few friends. At the end of the con, I came back in one last time and took a few pictures with Chevron, and then Tower of the Sun let me ride on his back, and he took me between the firework islands where we watched a dazzling display of fireworks and listened to music made by the Furality team. Honestly, it's the closest experience you can have to a con without going to a real life con. The amount of work that's put into these things is just absolutely mind-boggling. So thank you all of the staff and DJs, you made the event truly magical. Okay, so that's the end of that. Let's move on to the last bit. So towards the last quarter of May, I went to Confuzzled. Confuzzled is a furry convention based in Birmingham that runs every year. At the moment, it's the biggest furry con in the UK. Not only did I go to the con, but I was also there as a volunteer. I helped out by attending the VR chat portal. I helped Nidanoku carry the computer and equipment to the portal itself in the morning, and moderated it to make sure no one did anything, stupid in VR chat itself, such as breach terms and conditions, whip out a not safe for work avatar, etc, etc. To be honest, I didn't do as much work as the guys inside VR chat. Those moderators did way more time than I did. I think in total I covered about 5 hours. Nothing hugely interesting really happened there either. Although at one point a dude in a very buff looking wolf fursuit walked in front of the camera, and the furries in VR chat collectively started going ooh ooh and saying wolf daddy, and a lot of it just made me cringe and shake my head. The guy seemed to find it quite amusing and didn't milk it and just went off on his way. I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing it again next year, it depends. I just like helping out where I can at the con and just party for the rest of the time. Speaking of, I went to a lot of room parties and they were an absolute blast. Grem and Azra in particular threw one, and my roommate Gannon was DJing for it. A room party with its own proper DJ. One that has played at countless events in VR chat and is very talented. I spent time there at the pool, I visited several restaurants, I saw lots of friends, I went to karaoke, and I just had an overall really great time. If you've never been to a FurCon before, I highly recommend it. There was one incident which some people might have heard of. Some youths started throwing rocks at congos near the hotel. I say throwing rocks because even though they were apparently carrying knives and cricket bats in an attempt to intimidate the furs, they didn't actually come close to anyone because, these kids are really brave. As soon as they started, throwing rocks at people, though, they came face to face with con security, were apprehended, and then they were arrested by the police. Good job, boys. I hope you feel proud of yourselves for sticking it to those furries. You accomplished nothing by ending up with a criminal record and ending up in a meme. I really like the name of the one on here in this photo that the furries have made a meme with, called Little Cartman. That's pretty good. But anyway. Right, I think that covers just about everything. I hope you enjoyed this video and have a wonderful day.